benevolent, spacious, compassionate character. Especially like in relation to lay people or householders, the Buddha doesn't place so much emphasis on intensive meditation. So I've come to see in the discourses that the Buddha gives to lay people, often he mentions 5 important domains of practice, and we could see how these can imply or entail certain types of practices that one could undertake in daily life. So he says one of the important qualities for the lay follower or any follower is faith. And this means having faith and devotion towards the triple gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And this will translate in practical terms into engaging in maybe devotional practices. For example, reciting verses or texts in praise of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, participating in pujas, devotional rituals, making offerings, reciting sutras, and so forth. So that could be a valid means of practice. So that's faith. Second quality the Buddha emphasizes as part of practice is sila, which means observing precepts and living in accordance with the precepts. And so what I often recommend for any practitioner is this is a way of combining faith and sila, that every day they make it a point, at least once a day, to recite the 3 refuges and to recite the 5 precepts, and then to live in accordance with the precepts. Okay, a third domain of practice that the Buddha emphasizes for lay people is generosity, and that is the practice of giving, which has different aspects. So we could distinguish maybe 3 different types of giving or generosity, 3 fields of giving. One is giving as an expression of veneration, and this is giving when lay people make offerings and gifts to the monastic community as a way of supporting the monastic community and expressing their own veneration towards the monastics. Monastics representing a kind of embodiment of the Aryan Sangha, the community of noble ones. And then the second field of giving is called the field of compassion, and this is giving to the poor, the needy, giving to worthy charities, giving to support humanitarian organizations. And then the third field of giving is the field of gratitude. So this will be giving gifts to those who have benefited one in your life. I think it would include providing support to one's parents, making offerings to one's teacher, and supporting other benefactors, anybody else who's benefited you in your life. Okay, so this is generosity or giving. So we can say that these 3 qualities or aspects of practice pertain to developing one's character. So we have faith or devotion, sila, virtuous conduct, and generosity. So all of these help to develop a benevolent, spacious, compassionate character. The other 2 qualities are concerned with the development of understanding, wisdom, or insight. The first of these is learning, which means becoming, for a Buddhist, becoming acquainted with the fundamental teachings of the Buddha through study of the texts. One doesn't have to become a scholar of the texts, but I think for a Buddhist who wants to develop a clear understanding of the teaching, it's important to be able to turn to some of the fundamental discourses of the Buddha and some of the fundamental doctrinal structures, like the 4 Noble Truths, dependent origination, the 3 marks of existence, the distinction of wholesome and unwholesome qualities, karma and the fruits of karma. So one should have understanding of those principles. And then the 5th important aspect of practice is panya or wisdom. And the Buddha explains this as the insight into the arising and passing away of things. And so this, I would say, is the wisdom that develops through meditation. And it seems to be the wisdom, especially that develops through insight meditation.